So, for the past year, maybe 2 years, we've seen some pretty good improvements to Pokemon Go in terms of gameplay. It does feel like a much better game, and they've also put in some work in fixing some of the issues with PvP. But I think there's a lot of things that could still be done. I'm not going to be talking about what I would like to see with Pokemon Go in the future. That's certainly a topic I've covered numerous times in my channel. But I kind of want to give some ideas regarding where the game could be heading in terms of when it comes to the gameplay, when it comes to how it feels to play Pokemon Go, and what I believe Niantic is trying to do for the future of this game. Hey y'all, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So this is going to be one of those discussion videos where I just kind of share my thoughts regarding Pokemon Go. This is of course a game that I've been playing since day one for the past 9 or so years. It's been quite a while. We're very quickly approaching the 10-year anniversary of this game. Yeah, it feels crazy to think that I've been playing Pokemon Go for almost a decade. It's pretty wild to think about. Actually, the game's anniversary is actually coming up really soon, maybe in about a month. I think it's been around like June of 2016 when the game first launched. Yeah. It's been a wild ride. There's been a lot of things that Niantic has done over the years that I would say was really good for the game. Of course, the game started off with a very specific vision in mind. It was mainly to give you a very unique experience, the AR gameplay, going out and catching Pokemon in the wild, becoming a real-life Pokemon trainer. All that stuff was really cool. It still feels that way. Pokemon Go, for what it's worth, it really hasn't strayed far away from the original vision of simulating the experience of being a Pokemon trainer in real life. You go to real world locations, you catch Pokemon in the wild, outside, going around. You don't play this game from home. And it still feels that way. You're going out and catching Pokemon, training up your most powerful Pokemon, using them in raids and PvP, and it really feels like there is a sense of progression, and you do actually feel like a Pokemon trainer. But I think the future of this game is kind of questionable at this point. It feels like a lot of the original mechanics are now starting to get very outdated, and it does feel like Pokemon Go is constantly missing something. It doesn't necessarily feel like a complete game still. I know when the game first came out, John Hanke, the CEO of Niantic, he said something along the lines of the game being only 10% completed, and there were so many things that they envisioned for this game. A lot of that stuff may have came to fruition. Maybe there are certain aspects of Pokemon Go's current state that are definitely well beyond the final vision for the game, but I do feel like there is still more that could be done. I know I've talked ad nauseum on my YouTube channel about various mechanics that they could introduce to make Pokemon Go feel a lot better, certain things that could definitely add to a sense of progression. A lot of that stuff is definitely needed for Pokemon Go. I think for the game, a lot of endgame players like myself, there's not much to work on. I mean, maybe if they released bottle caps more often, which is something I've been constantly suggesting, maybe that could help it out, but overall, it feels like a complete game in terms of the original mechanics. There's not much else that you really can do to feel like you're progressing. Yeah, they've added things like increased level cap. I think that's one of the improvements that they've done over the past year. Certainly, they've added some new raid difficulties that are actually pretty difficult with the less trainers you have, like the new Super Mega Raids. That was pretty cool, but it still feels like there's not much. It doesn't feel like there's a lot to work towards. I mean, Dynamax battles, maybe there was some potential there for a new kind of progression, but it's kind of like a side activity. It doesn't necessarily feel necessary to some extent. I just feel like it's just another form of progression that is a little bit superficial. You don't necessarily feel the urge to go out and do Dynamax battle content, for example. And PvP, even though they did a lot of fixes to PvP, it still feels incredibly niche. It doesn't seem like the vast majority of Pokemon Go players engage with PvP as some of the more hardcore players do. I feel like that has always been the case with PvP. Maybe because of the way it's designed, maybe because it requires very specific Pokemon for you to succeed. I think a lot of players out there just tend to not to choose, like, they just decide not to PvP. It's just a little too much for them, and I totally understand that. So what does that leave us with? What does that actually give the average player to do when it comes to Pokemon Go? What does it mean for endgame players? What are the things that they could work on? Well, I think there's a lot of things that they are somewhat working towards. It does seem like overall, when it comes to the game, they are essentially just kind of, I guess, like building upon stuff from the past and just trying to give everything a fresh coat of paint. It does feel like that. I mean, recently with Pokemon Go Tour, they brought in new Mega Evolutions, a new kind of Mega Evolution raid, and then of course, a new Mega Evolution level, which is something that requires a lot of work. It does feel like it's just a revamp of the original Mega Evolution system, which was already revamped, in case you don't remember. The original Mega Evolution system was very cumbersome. It was kind of clunky. It didn't really feel that straightforward, so they revamped it by adding the Mega levels. And then recently, they added a new Mega level, and also new Mega Evolutions and a new Mega Evolution raid type. And I think it was very well received, but it just didn't feel incredibly fresh. It didn't feel incredibly new, because no matter how difficult those Super Mega Raids were, it just felt like more raiding content. It didn't necessarily feel like a brand new thing. There was definitely potential for that there. There was definitely certain mechanics that could have produced something like that, but it just didn't feel that great. It just didn't feel that sense of like, oh, this is a brand new game. It's something that I really want for Pokemon Go, and it just seems like that's not the direction that they're going. I predict that we're going to start seeing similar reworks of other mechanics that have been long awaiting some sort of rework. I think gym battles might see a rework. I think PvP might see a rework. I don't know. We might see a rework to like certain events, like research days, community days, stuff like that. They might start adding new things to these sort of events and just making old stuff a little bit more new. That seems like the way Niantic has been going. Certainly, there's a lot of things that they have added that do feel new. There's certain things like the Go Pass mechanic, as well as certain things like different items. Remote trading is one thing that has definitely got a lot of people buzzing. But again, those are just all additional daily tasks. It's just more of the same stuff that they've had for years. It doesn't feel like there's anything fresh. It doesn't feel like there's anything absolutely necessary for you to engage with. It's just more of the same game with a lot of, I guess, stuff added on. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if that's going to be good for the game's overall future, but it does seem like that's what Niantic has been doing, and maybe that could be what they planned for Pokemon Go from the beginning. But yeah, regardless, whatever the case may be, I really hope that there is a bit of a course correct. Maybe they will start thinking about new game modes with a whole different set of progression systems that players could work towards. Maybe they could do some of the ideas that I suggested in the past, which I personally believe would definitely add a lot of value to the game and a lot of longevity. One of the things that I suggested in the past is actually the ability to prestige your Pokemon. Basically, you hit the max level, you could reset the levels. You know, you'd pretty much have to power it up from scratch, but it would have a much higher ceiling. For example, if I were to have, like, let's say, a 100% IV, let's say Mewtwo, Shadow Mewtwo, whatever. Completely max it out, spend all of the rare candies, Rare Candy XL, what have you, the insane amount of Stardust to get it to fully maxed out, and then I could prestige it, pretty much start it from scratch. Basically, it will go back to level 1, and then I would have to power it up again, but this time it would have a lot higher of a stat base because I prestiged it, and you can continuously do it. I don't know if infinitely would be a good idea, but at least a couple more times so that I can continuously work towards maxing out that Mewtwo. That's, in my opinion, something that I would like to see. If that is the direction that Niantic is going, that would be a great way to add some more longevity to the game. More reasons for us to play the game every day. More reasons for us to get as much Stardust as we can. More reasons for us to farm up rare candies, Rare Candy XL, all that good stuff. I don't know what the case may be, but it just feels like the direction that they're currently going for Pokemon Go is just more of the same stuff, and maybe that could be a cause for concern. Who knows? but I still think Pokemon Go is in a good place. Again, I do not want to take away the credit from all the good things that they have been doing for the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, ever since Scopely took over. There has been some really good stuff when it comes to Pokemon Go's gameplay. I don't want to take away from that. But at the very least, I also have to call a spade a spade. It does feel like Pokemon Go is very much kind of getting outdated at this point. Maybe it's just me because I've been playing since day one, and for new players, they're just loving the game. I always have a good time seeing that within social media. But for me, myself, this is just basically how I'm feeling, and maybe, hopefully, Niantic is aware of that sentiment among longtime players, and they'll do something to change our minds. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to discuss in this video. It's just some of the things I wanted to share. Maybe some of you agree with me, maybe some of you just completely disagree with me. Like I said, there's been a lot of new players who have been just loving the game. They're kind of reaping the rewards of all the struggles that longtime players have had to suffer through. And, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for you if you're a new player. I think you're coming into Pokemon Go at a really good time when the gameplay mechanics are just a lot of fun. But at the same time, this is all stuff for us longtime players that we've been seeing for a long time. So yeah, share your thoughts. I would definitely like to see it. Let's have a great discussion. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and you want to support my channel, the best way you could do that is by hitting that like button for this video. And of course, if it's your first time here to this channel, if it's the first time here watching a video by me, hit that subscribe button. That would be a huge help. And of course, make sure you turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. And also check out the links in the description below. One of them is to my Patreon page. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, any level of membership you will get on my Pokemon Go friends list. So yeah, that means for remote raids and all that good stuff. Make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And there's also a link to my Etsy store as well. So if you're a big fan of K-pop and anime, I'm making a lot of merch for those specific areas. And if those are things that interest you, go and check it out. Maybe you'll find something you will like. And of course, follow me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm primarily on Instagram and Threads. Head on over there, give me a follow. You'll be able to keep up with my daily life. And yeah, with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. My name is Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, have a good weekend. Good luck on Riolu Hatch Day if you've done it already. Actually, I think this video is going to be uploaded after that Hatch Day happens. Anyway, hope you had some good luck with that. And yeah, I'll catch you all later.